Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tuassir wa tammim bil khair. Ajib anil as'ilatil atiyah. Answer the following questions. So, Ajib, what do you think? Which bab is it from? Which verb form is this? Can you figure out? This is the only verb form when we talk about fi'l al-amr. It comes with fatha. So this is basically form number 4, which we are doing now. Aslama yuslimu islaman, which is aslim, and on the same pattern we have ajaba yujibu ijabatan, and fi'l al-amr will be ajib. Ajib anil asilatil atiyah. Answer the following questions. Lima lam yahdur Uthmanu. Why didn't Uthman attend the class? Or why didn't he attend? So lima, as we know that it is used to ask a question. It is similar to limada. Sometimes we use limada and sometimes we use lima. Lam, we know that it's used for the negation in the past, and it comes with the present tense, and the present tense becomes majzoom after that. Yes, does anyone remember, like, why didn't he attend? Lam yahdur, he did not attend. Who? Uthman. Lam yahdur
مصاب
Uthman did not attend. لأنه مصاب بإسهال شديد, because he was suffering from severe diarrhea. So that is the problem with him. So musabun, can you figure out the pattern of musabun?
أصاب يصيب
Excellent. Asaba yusibu isabatan. And ismul file will be musibun, and ismul
يصيب
maf'ul will be musabun. Perfect.
مصاب
And ishal, as we know that here this hamza is hamzatul qat', it will not be dropped. So it is ashala yushilu ishalan bi ishalin shadidin. All right. Mata aslama Muhammadun. When did Muhammad accept or embrace Islam? Okay, so Muhammad, what kind of verb form is this? And is this ismul fa'il or ismul maf'ul?
اسم مفعول
Ismul maf'ul, perfect. And which form is this? Which bab is this?
حمد
Excellent. Hammada yuhammidu
محمد
tamhidan.
يحمد
Perfect.
تحميدا
And Muhammad is the person who praises a lot, and Muhammad is the person who is praised a lot. And Aslama, as we know that this is form number 4. Mata Aslama Muhammadun. When did Muhammad accept Islam? Aslama Ama, as we can see over here, واحد وثمانين وتسعمائة وألف أو وألف للميلاد. So he accepted Islam in 1981. So now we can see over here, Ama, because this is time, and we know that dharf, so it is normally mansub, because dharf is normally mansub, and this is mudaf, and the rest of the construction up to alfin is mudaf ilayh. That's why it is majroor. So wahidin wa thamanina, it was basically thamanuna, and because of ama, because of being mudaf ilayh, it has changed into ina. وثمانين وتسعمائة وألف للميلاد. So he accepted Islam in 1981. لما تأخر إسحاق? Why did Ishaq come late? Or why was he late? تأخر إسحاق لأنه ذهب إلى مكتب البريد لإرسال برقية. So Ishaq was late because he went to the post office to send a telegraph or telegram. So we can see over here, ta'akhara is form number 5, which we will take inshallah after one lesson. Ishaqu. Why not Ishaqun? Yes, why not Ishaqun? Yes, does anyone remember? because this is mamnu min as-sarf. Ishaq is a non-Arabic name, and it is mamnu min as-sarf, so that's why it is إسحاق لأنه ذهب إلى مكتب المريض لإرسال. إرسال, can you tell me the form of إرسال? Which form, verb form is this, and how is it formed? Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. أرسل يرسل إرسالا.
إرسالا, excellent. أرسل يرسل إرسالا. So this is the same form number 4 which we are doing now. To send. لإرسال برقية, to send a telegraph. Perfect. All right, so let's continue. Question number 2. من أبواب الفعل الثلاثي المزيدي. As we know that we are talking about the verbs that are derived forms of the verb of the form, the verbs that have 3 root letters. So we call them الفعل الثلاثي المزيدي. باب أفعل زيدت في أوله الهمزة. So Hamza is added in the beginning of Bab أفعل. Zidat, as we know that this is basically passive of Zada Yazidu. And why it is feminine? Because of Hamza is feminine, so that's why we have used Al-Hamzatu and the form is Zidat. And we know that Jar Majroor fi awwalihi, Jar Majroor normally it comes before the file, before the doer, for the purpose of emphasis. So Zidat Al-Hamzatu fi awwalihi is also okay. But when we say zidat fi awwalihi al-hamzatu, then fi awwalihi is used for the purpose of emphasis. We know that jar majroor, whenever they come before the file, then they come for the purpose of emphasis. تأمل المثالين. Now we have 2 examples to ponder, to reflect. لباب أفعل, for باب أفعل. ثم هات المضارع. Then we have to provide the present tense. والمصدر, and the masdar. من الأفعال التي تليهما, from the verbs that follow them. Hima refers to مضارع and masdar. الماضي, المضارع والمصدر. أرسل, he sent, and the present tense is يرسل. So past is أرسل, present is يرسل, and masdar is إرسال أو إرسالا. أسلم, we have taken this verb as the base verb of form number 4. أسلم يسلم إسلام أو إسلاما. Okay, now أغلق. So what should be the present tense of أغلق?
أغلق يغلق.
يغلق. And masdar will be إغلاق. All right, perfect. Then we have أخبر to inform. أخبر
يخبر.
يخبر إخبارا. Perfect. And then we have أطفأ يطفئ.
يطفئ إطفاء.
إطفاء أو إطفاء. So now we can see over here that in the present tense, this Hamza has been dropped, and we will discuss in the coming exercises, like it comes back when we make Fi'lul Amr, but in the present tense it has been dropped. So it is not yu'arsilu, it has become yursilu. Do you remember the reason, like why it has been dropped? Does someone remember the reason? Because it's difficult to pronounce it, it's difficult to read. For example, reciting yu'ursilu is difficult, so that's why the Arabs, whenever they find something difficult to pronounce, they simply drop it. So it has become yursilu. Similarly, aslama yuslimu, aghlaqa yughliqu, and so on. Ajaba yujibu. And now look over here, please. There is a small change. Now these small changes we have to note down, and we have to try to memorize them. And these small changes take place because we have lots of variety in Arabic, especially the verbs. So what happened over here? Basically it is ajwaba yujwibu ijwabun, as the Sheikh has mentioned over here. Ajwaba yujwibu ijwabun. Now we know that ajwaba has changed into ajaba. We know the changes that we have discussed in book number 2. that whenever basically what happens, the haraka of ajwaba of waw goes back because the harf before this is sakin, so it has become something like this. And ajwaba yujwi, so ijabatun. What happened? The only thing that we need to remember over here, that in these kinds of verbs, what do we call them? Does anyone remember the name? Ajwaf. When the middle of the verb is hollow, we call them ajwaf. The verbs that are ajwaf, when we talk about the masdar, then extra ta marbuta will be added to that. So instead of ijwabun, it has become ijabatun. So I think the easier way is just to memorize that whenever we have a verb which is ajwaf, like we have alif in the middle of the verb, then in the masdar the change takes place, and the change that takes place is that ta marbuta is added to the masdar. So instead of ijaban, it has become ijabatun, ijabatun or ijabatan. So aqama. So yes, what will be the present tense of aqama?
يقيم
Yuqimu. Perfect. And what about the masdar?
يق-
Iqama tun. As I told you, that an extra ta marbuta will be added to the masdar. So this is one of the changes that takes place, and we need to note down and we need to memorize this, that whenever we have a verb which is ajwaf, like ajaba yujibu ijabatan, aqama yuqimu iqamatan, adafa yudifu. Yes, can you give me the masdar of adafa yudifu?
إضافة
Idafatan. Yes, we have discussed in many several times.
إضافة
Adafa yudifu idafatan. So what happened over here, that ta marbuta has been added to the masdar, so it has
مصدر
become aqama yuqimu iqamatan, to establish. Okay, then we have atamma yutimmu itmaman. Atamma, what kind of verb is this? This is muda'af. Muda'af yani it is basically at, it
مضاعف
is at mama. We have meme twice, at mama, and we know that whenever we have two letters that are the same, then we merge them into one, and then we put tashdid, and of course there will be hamza onto that. So it has become atamma yutimmu, and no change will take place to the masdar. It will be itmamun on the pattern of if'alun. If'alun. Atamma yutimmu itmamun. A'adda. Yes. Can you figure out the present tense of a'adda?
يعد
Yu'iddu. Perfect. It will be a'adda
يعد
yu'iddu. And the masdar will be i'dadan.
إعداد
Perfect.
إعداد
I'dadan أو i'dadun. Excellent. So atamma yutimmu itmaman wa a'adda yu'iddu i'dadun. All right. So this is one of the changes that has taken place over here. Now be ready for the second change that is going to take place. So we have alqa. Yes, we have discussed in the introduction of the lesson that this verb is very commonly used in the Arabic language. Alqa,
يلقي
yulqi, perfect, yulqi. And
يلقي
now, as we can see over here, it has become ilqa'un. Misluhu ilqayun. So because laqiya yalqa, the root letters are lam, qaf, and ya. So now please remember, and we have discussed this in like book 2 as well. Does anyone remember the fa'il, the doer of qala? What is the fa'il of qala? The doer. Qa,
قابل
ism al-fa'il. No, the one who says something. Qa'ilun. Qa'ilun. On the pattern of fa'ilun. Okay. So originally it was qawilun. Originally it was qawilun. So what happened? This waw has changed into hamza. So From here we can derive a rule over here that whenever waw and ya, whenever they happen to come after alif, whenever they happen to come after alif, they change into hamza. They change into hamza. So it was basically ilqayun, but because here after alif, it has come, ya has come after alif, that's why it has changed into hamza. So it has become ilqa'un. Alqa, yulqi, ilqa'un. Did you get the idea?
So can you explain again, Ustad?
Yeah, the rule is very simple. Whenever waw and ya, whenever waw and ya, they come after alif. When they come after alif, they change into hamza. They change into what? Hamza.
Answer.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have discussed this, like in book 2, we have discussed that qabilun changes into qailun. Okay. What about bayi'un? Someone who sells something. Bayi'un. What will be the real form of bayi'un? The after changes. After changes, it becomes. Do you remember? Ba'i'un. Ba'i'un. So what happened over here? Ya has changed into hamza. Why it has changed into hamza? Because it happened to come
Yes.
after alif.
Alif.
So the rule is whenever waw and ya come after alif, they change into hamza. So the same thing has happened over here. It was basically ilqayun, ilqayun, but because ya has come after alif, that's why it has changed into hamza. So it has become
Answer.
ilqa'un. Did you get the idea?
Alhamdulillah.
Perfect. Perfect. So this is the second change. All right. Now, amana aslahu, as we can see over here, the root letters, the base form is, as we know that the base form is amana. Amana ya'manu. What is the base form? Amana ya'manu. And we know that this verb form starts with hamza. It starts with hamza, as we can see over here, all of them. So what happened over here now? We have two hamzas together. So what's the rule? We have discussed that when the first hamza has alif, a fatha, and the second one is sakin, then it changes into mad. It changes into real mad, so it becomes amana. Similarly, you say akulu, akulu, and it has become amana. So amana, and what will be the present tense?
Yu'minu.
Yu'minu. All right. So why it has changed into yu'minu? First we have ya, as we know, ya with dhamma, as we know that. After that we have hamza, which is sakin, right? It becomes yu, and then we have mim, which has kasra, and then we have noon. So it is form. It will be something like this. It is yu'minu. Now we know that the three letters, which is alif, waw, and ya, they should be compatible with the haraka. So whatever haraka comes before them, they should be according to that haraka. Okay, now.
Dhamma is compatible with
Yes,
waw.
dhamma is compatible with
Waw.
wow, perfect. So that's why
So
it becomes yu'minu. That's why it has become yu'minu. Amana, yu'minu. And here again, the change that has taken over here, we have hamza with kasra, and then after that we have hamza again. So it is basically on the pattern of if'alun, on the pattern of if'alun. So it is i'manun, i'manun. So now again we know that when there is hamza with kasra, and after that we have hamza again, then it has to be compatible with the haraka. So what is compatible with kasra?
yeah.
Yeah, excellent. So that's why this hamza changes into ya, so it has become imanun. Amana yu'minu imanun. Amana yu'minu imanun. And then we have awjaba, awjaba. So what do you think should be the present tense of أوجب? Yes. So we put here ya with dhamma, ya with dhamma, and then after that we have wow, and then we have jibu. All right. So try to figure out the form. What should be the form of this? It should be
Yujibu.
yujibu. Perfect. It is
Jibu.
yujibu. Okay, yujibu. Okay, now here we are reading it as yujibu, and here we are reading it as yu'minu. Yu'minu. Why? Because whenever Hamza is sakin, we have to pronounce it with a small twitch or with a small jerk. So it becomes yu'minu, the rule of the tajweed. But when we have dhamma before wow, then it has to be pronounced as yujibu. Yujibu. Similarly, we have ayqana yuqinu. Ayqana yuqinu. Awjaba yujibu. But this one, because we have Hamza over here, it is amana yu'minu imanun. Awjaba yujibu ijabun. So please pay a very special attention to the pronunciation, because this pronunciation is different. This is yu'minu and this is yujibu. Yujibu ijabun. And here it was basically ifjabun, because we have wow in the root letter, and we know that when wow is sakin and there is kasra before it, it also changes into ya, so it has become ijabun. Now, mashallah, this form of the verb is the most commonly used form in the Quran, and also it goes through different changes. So you have to pay very special attention to these changes and try to write it down and try to memorize it. Once you memorize it, inshallah, once you go through by writing with your own hand, then inshallah you will get used to it. The next exercise is quite easy. تأمل reflect طريقة صوغ الأمر من باب أفعل ثم صغ الأمر من الأفعال الآتية. Alright. تأمل, we know that this is verb from number 5. طريقة. Why طريقة has only fatha? Why not طريقة? Come on, now you should be able to figure out. After this, we can see that
Fi'l al-amr, because of the amal. Fi'l al-amr after the amal.
excellent. So
So
it
it
is
takes fatha.
طريقة and it is mudaf, and sawghi is mudaf ilayh. So whenever you see a noun that it does not have tanween, and try to look at the noun that comes after this, and if the noun after this has kasra, that means that this is mudaf ilayh. So تأمل طريقة صوغ الأمر. صوغ, this is masdar of what? Does anyone remember? صاغ يصيغ
يصيغ.
صيغة وصوغا. It has two masdar. صاغ يصيغ صيغة. Similarly we have صوغ. صوغ الأمر من باب أفعل ثم صغ. What about صغ?
So it's fi'l al-amr there.
This is فعل الأمر. Excellent. فعل الأمر of صاغ يصوغ. صاغ يصوغ صغ. Similarly we have قال يقول قل. صغ الأمر من الأفعال الآتية. Perfect. So basically what we have to do, we have to reflect on the form of فعل الأمر from باب أفعل, and then we have to make فعل الأمر from the following verbs. As we can see over here, يرسل أصله يؤرسل, as I discussed in the previous exercise, that it was basically يؤرسل, but this hamza has been dropped. Why? Because it is difficult to pronounce. حذفت منه الهمزة. Hamza has been dropped. ويصاغ. يصاغ, as we know that this is the passive form of مضارع. يصاغ الأمر من الصيغة الأصلية, and then this is formed, or فعل الأمر is formed from the original formation or from the original form. So ترسل أصله تؤرسل. تؤرسل. So how do we make فعل الأمر? We know that what we do, the ending we make it sakin.
Should be sakin, and alamat al-mudari has to be dropped.
Yeah, if it is readable, if we can read it, then we will not make any changes. Arsil, can we read it? Yes, it's
Yes,
readable. So
Ustad.
that's why there is no need to make any changes. So it becomes arsil. So تغلق أصله تؤغلق تؤغلق. So what we will do, we will make the ending sakin and we will
Second,
drop
we have to drop the
alamat al-madari, so it becomes أغلق.
outlet.
Yes, أغلق الباب, close the door. تسلم, so original is to aslimu and فعل الأمر will be
Aslim.
aslim, perfect, aslim.
Aslim.
Okay, تعد, so it is basically تعد. What will be the فعل الأمر? I hope you can figure it out.
To
Yes.
أعد. أعد. أعد.
Okay, if you say yes, perfect. أعد, basically
أعد.
أعد will be the فعل الأمر of أعاد يعيد.
أعيد.
أعاد يعيد, to return something back, so it will be أعد. But this one is basically أعد يعد. أعد يعد. So we know that whenever we have tashdid in the end, so when we make it sakin, the change takes place. Here we cannot drop dal because basically there are two, basically we have dal twice over there. So what happened? It was like this. So it was, so we drop this, so it will be a'id, a'idda. So what happened? This dal has been dropped, and to reflect the change, we will change dhamma into fatha. Dhamma into fatha.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Yes,
Your
walaikum
voice
salam.
is very low, sir. I can't hear your voice, sir.
Well, to be honest, I'm not sure why it's happening. Um, I tried my level best to fix the volume. You have to bear with me. We are about to complete this lesson, so inshallah, when we come back again, hopefully, um, I will try my level best to fix it. So you can't hear me at all?
No, it's slow, sir. We can hear you, but it's
It's
become
low.
very low. Yeah.
Okay. So uh, it has become a'idda. A'idda. So dhamma has changed into fatha. A'idda. Tu'minu. So what will be the fi'l al-amr of tu'minu?
Amin.
Excellent. So we
Amin.
make the ending sakin. We drop this alamat al-madari, and when we have hamza with fatha and the hamza after that is sakin, then it changes into mad. It becomes amin. Perfect. Okay, what about tujibu?
Ajib.
Ajib. All right. So how did you make it ajib? I want to know. I want you to guide me. Like, how did you make it? Okay, first we make the ending sakin, right?
Sakin. Yeah.
Okay.
The
We
the
drop
weak letter
alamat al-madari first.
alamatul
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, now
Because of iltikaw sakinain,
excellent. We have iltaqaw sakinin. Perfect.
the weak letter gets
Has to be dropped. Perfect. Ajib. Ajib anil asilatil atiya. So that's why we have this ajib. And whenever we have the weak letters, we always have this issue of like dropping them, changing them into alif, sometimes into waw, sometimes into ya. So they really play a very important role when we are learning the Arabic language. And the last exercise we have over here, so it is ajib. And inshallah, after completing this exercise, I think we can sign off. Now we have to make صغي اسم الفاعل من الأفعال الآتية or آتياتي. So we have to make اسم الفاعل. You know how to make اسم الفاعل. It's very simple, right? We simply change علامة المضارع into ضمة, into meme. We change it into meme, and in the end we put tanween. So what will be the اسم الفاعل of أسلم يسلم?
Muslimun.
Muslim.
Muslimun.
Very simple, right? And similarly, we have yursilu, so we change it into meme, and then we put tanween, so it becomes mursilun. Arsala yursilu, to send, fahuwa mursilun. Perfect. Amana yu'minu, fahuwa
Mu'minun.
mu'minun. Excellent. Mu'minun. So that's the change that takes place over here. This ya changes into
Yadiru.
Okay, Adara Yudiru
مدير.
Mudirun.
مدير.
So Adara basically means to arrange something, to organize something. So Mudir is basically the organizer, the person who takes place of some activities. That's why it's called manager or Mudir. Ahrama yuhrimu ihram. To make something
محرم.
muhrimun. Yeah, muhrimun. So anyone who is wearing ihram, we call him muhrimun. Yani anything that was halal for that person during that time. Now there are some restrictions of the ihram. So because of those restrictions, there are certain things that have become haram for that person. So that's why we call it muhrimun. أمكن يمكن
ممكن.
ممكن. هل هذا ممكن؟ أتم يتم
متم.
متم. Perfect. And again, you know that whenever we have the weak letters, the change takes place. So ألقى يلقي
ملقا.
ملقا أو
ملك.
ملقن.
ملك.
ملقن. Okay, perfect. So it's basically ملقن. And when we put al with that, then the ya comes back because we know that this is a weak letter in the end. When comes the weak letter comes in the end, so it changes into kasratain. So it has become mulqin. But when we put al with that, then ya comes back. Any questions that you would like to ask? All right. So سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك الله.
وإياك.